Pretender does, and I get what a bitch Miss Parker is, and how and if you're a fan, but you get all the nuance that you remember from the series and brought forward. So it was a bit of a tightrope act. Honestly, we talked about the story and the characters a long time.
And trust us, you know a lot more about the series than we do. Because you'll ask us questions and we'll be like, what is she talking about? Oh, well, as you'll probably see when we get moving. One other thing, kind of to segue a little bit into the graphic novel, which I don't know if you guys know this, but Jenna is actually writing the graphic novel. And when we all leave today, I'm going to give you all a card where you can actually go link on it and see the first, it's the 10-page
10 pages,
preview,
yeah.
which is great. But it's all about the origin of the singer. And all those questions that people have are like, well, where did it come from? How did it do? We're going to do this in a whole parallel storyline where it's like, we're going to fill in everything about the past, and Little Miss Parker's in that, so we're going to see it from her point of view. And then as, you know, we'll announce this, I guess, at some point, but we're going to do a series of other books that are going to come out. Some are about Miss Parker in her teenage years, in her early 20s, learning to become an operative, if you will.
And see the arc of her change from a preteen to the Miss Parker that she grew into, and why. And that was a rich character territory that we never got to explore in the series. So.
Exactly. In the pilot, there's that line where Sydney goes, "You were such a nice little girl, what happened to you?" And we thought, let's show how she got from being a nice little girl to the woman we meet in the pilot who's hell-bent to get him. And within that, we're going to do part of that is her going back to France and learning that's where the training was, and kind of retracing the steps of her mother as a child. So we're learning a lot more about Catherine Parker. So we're doing this in a way where everything we're doing is somehow tied together in a way that really answers those questions without it just being, because we thought, okay, let's just do a book that's right after Island of the Haunted. But if we did that, first it'd be an encyclopedia of answers. But it also would come out in a way where you'd go like, okay, really? Okay, so what's the next book? Or does the story end now? And we thought, let's reinvent it in a way where we can answer questions and get a continuing storyline that can continue the saga for hopefully years to come.
Well,
that was a long answer.
I'd love to hear what, I mean, I do know this, but I'm sure everyone would love to hear what the impetus was to bring this back.
Well, there was
You, and all of you.
Yeah.
And those questions you wanted answered and your passion for what this was.
And the truth is, we would have brought it back sooner, but there were some other issues that we don't need to go into. But so our hands were tied to a large degree. So we knew the fans were still out there. We hoped they were. And when everything cleared up on our side, that's when we started reaching out, and we saw the fan base was still there, and you guys still wanted some more material and answers and whatnot. And that just got us totally jazzed and jumped right into it. So.
And as creators, it's an odd thing where, you know, the powers that be at NBC, we didn't know they were negotiating for the football thing, and at the same time they were saying leave it as a cliffhanger. You know, we were the #1 show, so no one gets canceled through the #1 show in your night. But they bought the football thing, so we had all these cliffhangers purposely built in. And then when we did the movies for TNT, it was the same thing. It's like, we're going to do 10 of these. Let's just plan it out how it's going to go. And then 9/11 happened, and CNN lost all their money, and they didn't know what to do. And we're sitting here going like, well, wait a minute. We've set the audience up in a way that's not fair. And we all know, I'm sure everyone in here has had a show they loved, and it got canceled. And you sit there and you go like, you know, all of a sudden I'm the girl left at the prom. I came with one guy and he left with someone else. And what happened? And our thought was, one, it's unfair. And because, as Ray was saying, we got lucky and the rights reverted back to us in a way that we can do this. So we thought, you know, the fans have always been loyal to us. Let's be loyal to them and continue this in a way that is satisfying because we can and we love the project really more than anything else.
So I know you guys were really surprised at the insane amount of fans that are out there and all over the world. So what was the most surprising thing you found out?
Did you say insane fans or insane amount?
Insane fans and an insane amount of
We
insane
qualify
fans.
as both.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think for me, it was the worldwide reach of the fan base. I mean, we have literally what has been set up. The fans have set up these satellite centers all over the world: Russia, Australia, France,
Germany,
Spain,
Georgia. There's one in LA.
And if you
There's 8 or 9 now.
Yeah, and so the fact that the reach was, we always kind of knew that we had an international audience, but we weren't quite sure how international, and it's amazing. We're twittering, and some people are in bed, and then they Twitter us back the next day, because it's all over the time map. So that was my biggest surprise.
Right, and it was funny.